When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
There's been a lot of times I've sat there and sitting there on the couch and just like, man, I feel bad right now. And I'm like, you missed the alarm. How the hell do you think you're going to feel? Is it perfect the way you are?
Hold on, why are you there? Why are you there? Please, man.
No, you're fucking not.
No, like my girlfriend Sophia, when she reinvented herself. Let me tell you what she hears a lot. Oh, you looked amazing. You looked amazing both pictures.
Just so you know, you were fine before, but I love you.
It's like,
that's not the point.
The point is she wanted to become a better version of herself. Then you have,
I'm canceled. I'm canceled.
Shawn French, what up? This one luck, I let the pain inspire me. I put my all in everything I'm doing. Up until it's done, I'm me for the entirety. I put in overtime, I be working. Just know I'ma go for mine, cause I earned it. They watching, I know it's time, I confirmed it. A whole society determined success.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Determined Society. I'm your host, Shawn French. If this is your first time watching or listening, please hit subscribe, follow, all that kind of good stuff. Follow all of our socials too, at the Determined Society on Instagram and the Shawn French on Instagram. That's SHAWN, by the way. Today I have with me an amazing guest, my boy Travis Wallace. I was introduced to him by our mutual friend, Michael Little. We're doing an event together, which we will talk about, but he is a reinvention specialist. He's a total badass. I absolutely love him. Travis, man, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having me. Appreciate it,
dude. It's crazy, man. We were connected. I'm like, man, I dig this guy, but I didn't realize you were in Miami. I started watching your, I'm like, who is this? Okay, I started watching everything you're doing on Instagram, all this kind of shit. I'm like, there's a lot of beaches. Okay, those are not California beaches. I'm like, dude, where are you located? Miami, and then I'm in Fort Myers, Naples, and now we're sitting here in person, man. Power of connection, dude.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you having me. As soon as you messaged me, I said, oh, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, man.
No-brainer.
It's funny because like we talked about early on about, good connections, right? And I think it's something that, and we were talking about off air just now, and I want to bring it to the audience right away, is there's no small moments. Mm-hmm. Everything is big. Every introduction, every conversation, every relationship can potentially be that one, right? So how do you think about that on an everyday basis? Because for me, it's natural, right? How do you go through that?
So I actually live by a saying, a lot of people do, but it's brick by brick. And I think that is extremely powerful because it always reminds you there's not one brick that's more important than the other, So obviously you got to lay the foundation, but I think a lot of times people look at the big picture of things. If you look at the big picture of anything, you're going to get lost. I've been coached to think don't worry about how you're going to do it. Who can help you do something? And when you start to focus on the who can help me, who can teach me, the answers will be there. So they're all big wins. They seem small, but they're all big because it's literally taking to where you're trying to get to.
Dude, I went to this local event yesterday. Friend John Huffman put it on. And at the beginning he said, don't think about what you need. Think about who you need.
Powerful.
And dude, it's funny because when you're in the grind of building or reinventing your body, reinventing your financials or your career, or just really building a brand of something like this, I tend to look at that big mountaintop, and it's like, holy shit, look at that big mountain. That's Mount Kilimanjaro. How the fuck am I going to get up that thing? But the point is, right? You take that brick and you lay it. Then you lay another one, and then you focus on the systems and the processes. And so, but God dang, dude, I want you to, first of all, audience, my apologies. Let me back up. I want you to, give the audience a little bit of background on you, who you are, what you are doing, and what you're an expert at.
So I'm a former Division I athlete at the University of North Florida, played basketball there, then played pro. And I'm going to take you a little bit through the story because of my background of why I'm so passionate about helping people reinvent themselves. So first, at the age of 6, before we even get into when I was in college, my father was served a life sentence in prison. All right. So at the age of 6, I was automatically forced to have to reinvent myself. Obviously didn't understand what that was. I'm 6 years old. Your father's just taken away from you. I never forget the day where my mom sits me down. I speak about this in my book. My mom sits me down and where the Franklin Park Zoo in Boston, Massachusetts. And she whispers in my ear, hey, your dad, he got some trouble. He's going to be going away for a while. So good thing for him in Massachusetts, life sentence is 15 years. I'm not saying that's good, but it's better than sitting there forever. So, but I remember her telling me like my whole world just completely turned upside down. Like I'm 6 years old at that time. When you're 6, your dad is Superman, and hopefully people still feel that way about their father. But like, that was my Superman. Like that's the dad who's driving without his hands, but he's driving with his knees, and you're too young to realize that. Like that's who he was. So he went away and realized, I'm growing up without a father, and I'm seeing my friends and they're playing basketball, playing football. Their parents are at the game. My mom's only there. Sometimes she has a 9 to 5, so she may not be able to make the game. So I was that kid. So that was like my first time of understanding, like you had to become somebody new. Obviously, I didn't understand what reinvention was. By the age of 22, my whole life has been basketball. High school, basketball star, go to Division I, play University of North Florida, go play pro in Finland and Slovakia. All of a sudden, I'm like, I can't do this forever, man. Like, I'm not making life-changing money. I live in Slovakia. Like, it's nothing, it's not out. Yeah, like, come on now. Let's be real. So
I'm not throwing shade, but like, what's it like? Like,
it's a third world. It's a legit. I'm out here. Finland was nice.
Not bad.
Slovakia, Finland's because, the Western, but you get to Eastern Europe, you playing with fire. So I got there, I'm like, all right, I'm not trying to be soft, but I can't live out here. Like, this is like, so end up coming back home. And when I came back home, I had to get a job. I live with my mom. I had to get a job. So now I'm at Home Depot, at the local Home Depot of where I went to high school at. So now I'm at the Home Depot and I have a hood on the entire time. That's Travis Wallace. Like, dog, aren't you in Europe playing? Aren't you? I'm dealing with that. I got an apron on. I got the hoodie on so people don't see my face.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to build myself back up. I had to build myself back up and understanding, like, who am I? I had to create a whole new identity. Like, I don't even know who I am. I mean, you're a former athlete, so you understand it, dude. It's nothing to play with. Like, I think I drove a tow truck, bro. People understand. Shit. MLB is. I'm going to the MLB. Nobody can tell me.
Tell me what do you mean? What if it doesn't happen?
What are you talking about?
You talking about? Then I found myself. I'm driving a tow truck, and I don't know how to do this shit.
Oh man.
But I mean, and to your point, dude. Like, I can imagine, because like when you're talking about that, I'm like, oh man,
you already know.
He's sitting there in his hometown, working at Home Depot, and you're getting these people, dude. Aren't you fucking professional basketball player? You're like, no, I'm an employee at Home Depot.
We're Home Depot.
And that's the reality of it, right? And, I was lucky enough to where, when I did my stint as a tow truck driver, it was here in Florida. I grew up in Cali. So anyway, I don't want to interrupt.
No, you're good.
But that's the point, right? Like, that's the fucking moment. Like, we all are forced to do things sometimes that we don't want to do.
So, yeah. So, life forced that upon me. And I'm like, all right, I'm at Home Depot trying to figure it out. Like I said, mind blowing. Third one I'm gonna speak on, and I also speak on this in my book. At 30, I got married. I got married at 30 years old.
Okay.
I had an annulment in 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks. The annulment was already in there. We'll give it a month, but it got finalized in a month. But it like about 2, 3, it was over.
It was done, huh?
And what happened was, I got married for the wrong reasons. I've only known her for 8 months.
Okay.
I was moving. That was the only way she was gonna move with me. Do religious, religion, things like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna marry her. Hopefully, throughout the time of, the marriage, I will start to feel a certain way. So now imagine people fly down to your wedding, family, come on, man.
Dude, I'm sorry, kid. I love you.
Come on.
I'm fucking laughing right now. Like, eventually, maybe I'll like this chick, Like, but when we're young, we do shit like that.
So, and this is the thing, 33. This is 3 years. This is about 3 years ago. So,
okay.
My thing is, you go through that situation where, you call, like, I can't do this. This is not what I didn't know what I was doing. Like, people flew to your wedding. People do it. You're embarrassed. People calling your phone like, yo, man, how was it a month in and married? So now I'm like, all right, who am I? Who do I want to be? What do I stand for? Because certain things that have happened in my life, that doesn't define me. These are things that happen. So as I get into why I'm so passionate about that and why I help people reinvent themselves, because I've been there, and I've been there. So that's why I'm extremely passionate about it, like helping people and letting them see, like, who you are now. That's not who you are. You are who you will become.
Dude, this is one of my favorite conversations, and it's no shock that we're actually going down this road, because I think reinvention, and you've mentioned your book, you have a book coming out. So I want to give you the opportunity to talk about that, because the word reinvention, I think, used in the right way and in the context that you are, is super powerful, right? We are dealing with who we are at the current moment is a list of beliefs that we have chose to subscribe to, right? And I think in everybody's life, I know this is true for me, that I'm on Mount Kilimanjaro in some areas and I'm at the fucking base level in other areas. And it's hard. And the hard part is trying to reinvent the person at base camp to reach the guy at the top of the mountain, right? So how, in your book, do you go through how to get different aspects of life on the same level?
For sure. So when I speak on reinvention, so we call it the formula. I have the formula to reinvent people in 100 days. And how we explain the formula, it's a battle between reinvention and stagnation. So that person at the bottom is probably experiencing some type of stagnation, like they just won't move, you know? And then you have a person who's at the top of in your life where they've constantly reinvented themselves to get to the top. So as we're sitting here and I'm looking at this beautiful place and we're speaking and your podcast is going well, you've continuously reinvented this aspect of your life.
It hasn't stopped.
It hasn't stopped. But as we all have, there's some place in our life where we're like, that place is extremely stagnant.
Yeah.
That is stagnant. And what I do is I help people understand, like, there's a whole cycle. When I speak on the reinvention cycle, we always start with rewire. You have to rewire your thoughts. You have to rewire, like, how you feel about yourself, how you look about yourself before you do anything. All right. So as soon as they finish rewiring yourself, we have to recommit. Now you have to recommit to the promise. The promise that you made to yourself, we have to recommit to whatever that is. And we actually go through the reinvention process. That is the actual getting your hands dirty of whatever you're trying to do. So, hey, you tell yourself, hey, I want to start a podcast. I'm going to be one. I'm at the best podcast out there. You're telling yourself that. You rewire yourself. You recommit. Now you recommit to the promise. You doing the things that you need to do. Reinvent is actually making it come to life. And the last cycle of the reinvention cycle is the repeat. Now, the beauty of repeat is you go back to rewire. You challenge everything you've learned, everything that you've went through in terms of to reinvent yourself. So it's a continuously cycle. But the thing about the cycle is when you go back to the top to rewire, you're not just doing the same things over again. So when you go through this cycle with the podcast, you can't start from, hey, let's do it all over again. What can I be better at? What can I do to help this grow? You're not just being stagnant. In the stagnation cycle, I'll go through that really, really quick. It's first, it starts with satisfaction. People become satisfied. Oh, life's great. Life can't be better. This is it. All right. Then you enter a standstill where you don't move. Now you're stuck in mud. I like to call it paralysis prison.
Yeah.
Where, if you ever had sleep paralysis, you can't move. You're up and you can't move.
Yeah.
That's like standstill. Standstill is like you just won't move. And then you go into suffer. Now you're dealing with whatever pain you're dealing with. And then that sequence, the last sequence. And how this all started, to kind of rewind it back a little bit, is the fact that I've got to work with professional athletes, NBA champions, Olympians, Hall of Famers for the last 10 years of my life. This is how they are. This is why they separate themselves. They constantly reinvent themselves. The money don't matter. The car don't matter. The house don't matter. None of that stuff matters. So me having that, unique background and experiences, I try to implement that into people. Like, the materialistic things aren't going to do it. Mm-hmm. I've seen people who are one of my $30 million a year playing the game he loves, still trying to get better. So if I can, deliver that to people in their own life to get them, out of stagnation and just stop accepting, what their life has become, like, you have so much more that you could be.
It's crazy. Like, I think stagnation comes from the fear of things not working. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Right? It's like, well, why would I go do that? Because what if it doesn't work? What if I just end up right back here? And then that fear sets in. What have you seen as the kind of root cause of stagnation? Mm-hmm. Other than, being satisfied,
I think the biggest thing is belief, man. Like, it's people don't believe in themselves. They don't believe they can do much.
Yeah.
They don't, it's just, it's a scary place to be. And it's like, if you never, like you said, they're scared they're going to fail, whatever it may be. It's like, well, how are you supposed to succeed? People have to understand, in order to succeed at something, there has to be a risk of failure. It's impossible. So a lot of people want something where it's just 100% success. Well, I mean, that's going to be times.
What the fuck is that?
That's going to be put on your t-shirt. That's going to be stuff that, like, doesn't require a mantra, but
putting on my t-shirt.
and I still some failure. Hey, you still get in. So I think my biggest thing that I deal with is like I said, getting people from being stagnant, getting them to move, maybe even helping them realize like they're stagnant. And one thing that I deal with, and I'm pretty sure you can have some say in this in terms of your life, but I can have people contact me and say, hey, I want to reinvent myself. Like I've seen all the stuff you're doing. I want to do it. Not pull the trigger. And then 6 months later, it's still the same problem you told me you had. I can look at it and you still have the problem. So it's just like, how do you get people to move and how do you get people to understand like you are stagnant in that area that you ask for help, but I don't know if I see these pictures, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, you can do it.
I don't think they're willing to do what it takes, right? I think that's where I get stuck. Like, I mean, dude, you could look at pictures of me a year ago to now, and you can say like, okay, you're not doing the consistent audits for your meals that you did a year ago. So I think there's a choice of like, and people going, well, you know what? In this season of my life, I'm just truly not committed. And it's sad and it bothers me personally every day, right? And again, like the audience listening and watching, like I'm always real on the show. And I always talk about my struggles because I think what is most annoying for everybody is when people that have podcasts or have big brands, they act like they don't have any problems and like everything's great, making all this money, lovely, lovely, lovely. And that's not the way life is. We all struggle with shit. And my whole life, I've always struggled with that fluctuation of weight, right? And I know as soon as I stop subscribing to that low ass temperature and crank it up and become that person, everything else in my life will even soar even more because that's the only thing holding me back in my life.
100% agree.
Dude, that's the only thing. And I know that. And I just think some people, whether it's they're not willing to do the work or they might look at the price tag like, fuck, I'm not worth that. I can't do that.
And that's the scariest thing to me. You are like, what you're telling somebody, if you know you need help with something, and the thing about reinvent yourself physically, yes, a lot of stuff happened mentally, but when you release yourself from being, having confidence, like you go and gain confidence, the world opens up.
Yeah.
The world, how many people won't get in front of a camera and they have a business, but they won't get in front of the camera. The problem is, it's not that you don't want to get in front of the camera. You won't take care of the thing that you know you really need to take care of.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get around everything around there and you can't never get to the center where it's like, that's why I've helped people. Like, I don't care what you do. If we can get you to fall back in love with yourself and have self-love, the floodgates open up.
Okay. So for the people listening, like that's a big thing right there is being able to fall back in love with yourself. For some people have never been in love with themselves. And I think that, there's always been a negative connotation in this world about, man, you love yourself too much, you're conceited, this and that. But I think there's a healthy aspect of loving yourself for those that have either never loved themselves, like you're talking about, or that need to fall back in love with themselves. What are some of the strategies that you could share with on the show?
I mean, there's a million of those if you get people to fall in love back in themselves. But I mean, I think that's why, like, for me, it's like the first step you can do is, it doesn't have to be with me, like just doing something for yourself, invest in yourself. There are so many people who wake up, go to work, produce everything for something else and come home and leave themselves with nothing, So I'm just like, let's just start by doing something for you. When's the last time you've done something for you? And I don't want people to think it's a selfish act because the better I am, when you invite me to your podcast, the better I can perform for you.
Exactly.
So everything I do and everything we try to do, if we just think it's self-centered, it's like, I don't look at it that way.
But why is being selfish labeled bad? Because let's think of this. Because this is a hot topic here, right? This is a hot topic. I have 3 beautiful children, and I have a beautiful wife. Okay. If I'm not the best version of myself, which I'm not right now, they're getting a lot from me, and everything in our house is just fine. But don't they deserve more? And the only way they can get more is if I demand more of myself and I'm more selfish with my time. And it could be from the hours of 3:30 a.m. to 6 before they're even awake. But I'm being selfish at that point, right? And selfish, it's a nasty word, but if you break it down, it's selfish. You're about yourself in this particular moment. What are your thoughts on that word, man? Because I just don't think it's a bad thing.
So when people enter my program, it's funny you say that. In 100 days, you have to be selfish. It's the only way you're going to succeed. You have to give me 100 days of you being selfish. Now, what does that mean? I'm not going to party with you. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do things that I know are going to, be a detriment to me as I'm trying to rebuild or reinvent myself. So you have to be selfish. You have to have those moments where you're like, for this 100 days, and hopefully it lasts longer than that, but just doing my program, you have to be selfish so you can help other people. If you never help yourself, you can't help people. And I think that's the message that people kind of forget sometimes. It's like a lot of my clients throughout the program, they're like, I've lost friends. I've lost this. They just don't understand what I'm trying to do. Like, they want me to party, they want me to drink all the time. It's just like, you have to pick a side when you're trying to, when you try to reinvent yourself.
Is that typically the one thing, is the drinking and the partying?
It's the friends. Friends is the number one. It's the number. And after,
I'm so glad I'm not in that world anymore, dude.
And after,
that's not it for me.
And after they're done, they transform their body, they transform their mind. They start to look at their friends differently or their friends differently. And I say, what's funny? Those were your friends, which means that's how you thought. That's how you were. So don't just start, all of these. You was one of them.
Yeah, don't judge.
You was one of them. You just went through a process. You invested in yourself. You had somebody coach you and help you reinvent yourself. But you have to understand where they're at because you were once there. And same thing goes for me. You know what I'm saying? I was once at certain places. Like when I started, I've been in different places.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to look back at those people like that was with, like, oh, you don't know. I just did the work to build myself up.
It's funny because I think when people choose to not drink and go out and party and eat clean and not go out to eat, there is that judgment from society. And it's like, I talked about this on my last show with Levi Kelly. It's like, why is it that the people doing the right things and doing the right shit are being labeled as the tryhards, right? And getting a black eye, so to speak, amongst leaders in their company or even coaches. Because sometimes coaches can get turned off by somebody who works hard. It's like, wait a second, aren't I your model player? Like I'm, when I'm not at the field, I'm hiking or working out or doing something. I just feel that, that's always going to be a point of contention for some people. And I'm just so grateful that there was a time, probably 2020 through 2022, I was very focused in on all that, right? Very focused in on, barely any cheat meals, no drinking. And I really don't drink now. Like if I go to a wedding, like I'll have some beers. But what happened is I started naturally just weeding people out and they never got back in because I just didn't like waking up with a hangover anymore. I was excited about waking up and being coherent. For me, what's crazy is that's not what trips me up. It's how I feel my life is just busy, busy, busy. It's like, okay, oh shit, if I don't eat now, okay, I didn't prepare. Now I got to go eat something bad because I need something convenient because I have to fill myself the rest of the day because I'm not going to do this. And then there's gymnastics and there's soccer, then there's baseball. That's where I get tripped up. I get tripped up on the daddy duties, right? You ever deal with married couples that in the mom or the dad has issues scheduling their time? Because a lot of the listeners, like this is why I ask these questions, right? Because a lot of my listeners are like me. Like, okay, how can I make my day more organized so I can actually put myself first and get some fucking results that last?
And we actually, in our program, we have people who are just it's not really the marriage, it's more of just have a newborn. So that's and we've
that's some wild time.
That's some wild shit because you're dealing with somebody who's mentally just went through, a pregnancy.
The dad, right?
No, I'm not fucking with him. But the minute we went through the pregnancy, then you have, her.
I'm canceled.
Her body's changing.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, helping them, understand that, hey, one, it's going to be a slow process for them. But I think a lot of times where, you should use your words wisely, but like women never recover, and we're trying to build those habits back in before it's, quote unquote, too late. Because a lot of people, have kids and then everything just goes to be about them. And then they lose themselves and they have as a mom. And it's just like, you still want to be an example for your daughter or your son or whatever it may be. So that you want them to see you striving to regardless if it's a 20-minute workout. It's like, yo, my mom's always working out, and they grow up and they see those things, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it's difficult, but before I lose train of thought, you said something that was really important. And when we reinvent people, I don't tell people don't drink. I don't say any of that stuff. I don't say don't smoke. That's not how I run my program. I treat you like an adult. But in order for you to do what I'm going to ask you to do, things have to get weeded out, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
You can drink. You can do that.
But you can figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's like, Trap, I realized that I told you because you want this and your actions and your habits are this way.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, the more you climb to, your reinvention in 100 days, you realize I can't go that way. It's going to make it too difficult for me. And that's how, you end up on the other side. So when you said that, it really hit me because it's like slowly people start to weed out. And it's just like, you don't do it purposely. It's like, hey, bro, let's go out Saturday night. I mean, I'll pick you up at 11. It's like, I'm supposed to do this thing in the morning. Then he asks you again next week and you said no twice. Now the third week, he doesn't ask you. Next thing you know, it's like, I ain't talked to him in a month.
No, it's been 6 months.
So that's how it happens.
Yeah,
that's how it happens.
And it's never a disrespectful thing. It's your life goes in different ways, man. And I think that people that are looking to better themselves, whether they're starting a business, reinventing themselves physically, is like, you're going to make decisions that are best for you in your immediate circle, right? And then eventually what will happen is you'll find other interests that support that. And then you won't go in those other environments like, yeah, cool. Like, we're going out at 11 p.m. and I know I got something at 6 a.m. Like, why, like, how is that going to work? Because if you're going at 11, you're not going to get in before 2 or 3. Then you got something at 6.
And that's why, like, when I speak on investing in yourself, I call it layers. You create a layer for yourself to have that. People continue to make the decisions because they don't invest in themselves and they don't create a layer. So let's say we're in a podcast, so I'm gonna bring another podcast, and I put the money up front to rent the space or whatever it may be. What am I gonna start doing? I'm gonna start utilizing the space.
Oh, of course.
Because I just invested in it.
Yeah.
But when there's no investment, when people, because they don't want to invest in things because they want to constantly have a choice where they don't have to battle it. It's like the more you invest in yourself, the more choices you have to make.
Yeah.
And when you invest, it's like, okay, well, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. And next thing you know, all of a sudden you start elevating, even, you're building something now, as I can see.
Yeah, it's crazy because I put myself in situations with the show that my wife will look at me and God bless her. She'll look at me, what are you doing? I'm like, winning. This is winning. This is winning right here. Like, this is what we're doing. And it's typically because it's like, the financial aspect, right? It's always financial, right? It's always a conversation. But what I've done is I've elevated in certain areas with the show and brought on the right groups and people and have the right guests on and in this beautiful, studio. And then you just realize that, everything's fine. Like, I'm gambling on myself, so to speak, right? I'm gambling on this show because I know the trajectory of it. I just think some people are really good at that in certain areas, but in other areas, like I said, there's like that investment's very, very difficult, right? Because those conversations are hard to have with your significant other. I think that's as most real as I can get, because I talk to a lot of people that are, fitness coaches. I wouldn't label you as a fitness coach. I wouldn't, because a fitness coach to me, and sorry, it's more on the outside. You have to make some changes mentally. But I think anybody can get in shape in 90 days and, and stay there for a month. But to reinvent and to completely rewire your neuroplasticity, your brain to a point where this is who I am, I think that is a bigger approach, right? But I lost my train of thought. But essentially, when we're making these big moves, there's a lot of thought that goes along with it. And there's a lot of risk, right? Even with reinventing yourself. So when the person comes to you and they're nervous, because there's someone listening right now that is like, I need to get a hold of this Travis guy right now. And by the way, don't worry, his handles are going to be everywhere. You can contact him and, you can buy his book and all that fun stuff and work with him. And at the end of the show, he'll tell you where you can connect with him. But, and what would you say to that person that is right on the edge, that wants to invest in themselves? They just haven't found the right person, What's that final loving nudge you can give them?
Especially, I think price is usually, so I'm gonna speak on that. Usually a lot of people stop at price. And then I always ask myself and them is, what's the price of not reinventing yourself? What's that cost you?
A lot. But they can't quantify it, right?
They can't. So it becomes like, what's the price so you came to me with the problem, right? Because you know I can help you. You've seen people that I've helped. What's the price of not doing it?
Mm-hmm.
I think that price, let alone, is where a lot of people start to really reflect and like, okay, the price is this, depending on what package you get. If I don't do this, my life is going to continue the way it's going to continue. And the beauty of, why I enjoy what I do is because I want this to expand in outside areas of your life. Like, I have police officers, I have teachers, I have real estate agents, I have people from all walks of life that come and become, a client. And it's like, now I want you to walk into their house, that $3 million house, and I want you to feel confident. I want you to know you've done the work, you feel good about yourself, and you sell it like you've never sold it before. Because you believe in yourself now. You've transformed yourself. If you continue to be the same person every single day, when you look in the mirror, you're going to view yourself as that same person every day. What if I could just change you completely, physically, mentally, emotionally? You're not that person anymore. You're not that person anymore. I used to never talk about the annulment. That's not even me, so it's easy now.
Yeah.
I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I never.
But it's part of your story, though, and it's powerful, right?
But I was embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
Because I was too close to that person. We were still kind of, I had some of him, I'm trying to create somebody new. Now that entire person is gone, it's easy for me to speak on and be confident about it because that's not me anymore. And I think that's the missing piece for a lot of people is that they don't understand when you create a new you, the things that used to bother you or happen in the past, it doesn't mean as much just because I'm not that person. And I think physically is the best way to do it. So you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look the same.
Yeah. And it shows you that there's different underlying habits. There's different processes in place, right? And I think what you're talking about as far as, you're not that person anymore. As you elevate, versions of you die constantly, right? So we're always searching for, the next version of ourselves. And I think that's good in some ways, right? I think it's, a lot of ways. I think where a lot of people can get stuck is if they aren't moving as quickly, they can get depressed and they get, this isn't working. Like, I'm stuck here, right? But man, sometimes you just got to let that past version die.
I love everything you're saying. And I just spoke on this today. So I said, people like when you're reinventing yourself, let's say you read a book right now that you've never read. That's reinventing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like it can be that quote unquote small of a step. You read a book that could help you elevate in life.
Mm-hmm.
You've learned you are becoming somebody different. You've just gathered new knowledge. And I speak on that a lot in the book. Like everybody thinks it's like, you have to make this dramatic leap right away. Hey, I'm gonna start reading. I'm gonna start meditating. I'm gonna start, I drink Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday. I'm gonna go just Saturday night. That is reinventing yourself.
I didn't eat chocolate last night.
Hey, there you go.
And I'm not making fun of it. That damn Halloween candy's in my house.
Come on, man.
And I didn't have one last night. I didn't have any last night. I had 3 good meals today. Like, so I think it's about stacking habits, right? We talk about like, even James Clear, atomic habits. That's really what everybody needs to do. But a lot of times, and I spoke about this on the last show, it's like everybody sees Goggins.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody sees him. Let me go be that motherfucker. Like, do not go and try to be David Goggins. There's one motherfucking David Goggins. That is David Goggins.
For sure.
Stack your habits. Find a system. Employ a coach. Someone who's going to help you along the lines, whether it's business, certified financial planning. Find people that can help you get you in a better position by making small tweaks. Those compound. But people don't see the value in small things. And that is one of the things that we talk about off air is small things are big things.
And like I said, going back to my background, working with athletes, is like when you get to the NBA level, they have a chef, they have a financial planner, they have a strength coach, they have coaches, they have all these things surround them. So when the lights come on, the bright lights on, you see that person, right? there's 10 to 15 people as a physical therapist that we're surrounded. So that I have that background. I was one of those 10 to 15 people. I'm like, the most successful people are employing other people to hold them accountable. So when we land somewhere and it's 8 p.m. and the guy trained doesn't feel like lifting weights, I'm like, y'all just brought this dude with me to Marbella, Spain. You're going to do it.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, you keep doing those over and over again. The season's ready. You're ready. You didn't take those days off that you wanted to. That's what it's about. It's about creating your own environment. So I just want to be a small piece to somebody's success.
Exactly.
I just want to hold you accountable. I just want to show you how people do make these changes. And I think that's the biggest thing I learned. Everybody around them has a team.
Yeah, exactly. And I think and it's so funny because I want to address this right away while the audience is still stewing in this, because they're listening right now like, okay, here's my out. I'm not an NBA player. I can't afford a chef. I can't afford all this support. But you can afford small things. And just like Travis said, listening to the show right now is reinventing yourself. Reading a book is reinventing yourself. Going for that morning walk. We're talking about small things. And these small things of accountability and people holding you accountable doesn't have to be people you pay a ton of money to. It could be that friend that you trust. You know, it could be even the boss that you're butting heads with because, hey, you know what? I know I realize we've been butting heads lately, and I think it's because you're really upset with my production. You know what? You're right. I suck. Can you help me? Can you coach me? Can you teach me how to be better? Because I don't want to let you down. That's reinventing yourself. That's also dropping ego.
Yeah. That's my fourth non-negotiable.
See?
So
I love your non-negotiables every day.
Every morning, man. Win the alarm in the morning. Don't press snooze. That's the first thing that's going to happen to you. So I feel like if my alarm goes off and I press snooze, I just lied to myself. That's the first thing I just did was lie to I made a promise to myself the night before. At 4:45, this alarm's going off. Snooze, I'm not doing it. All right, so now I'm waking up like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to win the meal. Every meal I eat is a reason I'm eating it. I know what I'm putting in my body. It makes me feel a certain way. And this is how my clients, I teach them what food is actually doing for them. Then we win the workout. Big one. Everybody thinks winning the workout is David Goggins. No, you don't have to train. When your workout could be on the beach, just walking. That's a workout. Meditating. That's a workout. When the workout doesn't mean, I go to the gym 6 days a week. Every client doesn't go 6 days a week. Hey, how can we make this win for you? All right. So win the workout. 4, like you just said, my fourth non-negotiable is I got to remove the ego. I got to remove my ego every single day. Every day, like if I want to do something, and why am I doing it? Am I doing this for me? Am I doing this for people? So for me, like with a book, I didn't necessarily want to sit down there and get a headache of writing a book. It's not as easy. It's not as easy as it is.
I wrote one and
it's not as easy.
No.
And you send it to the editor and then they give you all this stuff back and you're like, I gotta edit all that. Like, where are these red marks for? Like, what do you mean?
I'm like in school. I'm a C- student.
Yeah. So then you realize you didn't do this, the apostrophe here, and I'm like, oh my God. And the fifth one is win the decision to allow me to be my best version. But the funny thing about number 5 is if I do number 1, if I win the alarm, if I win my meals, if I win the workout, if I remove my ego, I pretty much put myself in a position to be my best version.
Sure.
A good day, bad day, I gave myself a chance to feel good about myself. And so when you speak on ego, I think, especially as men, man, it's difficult to remove it. It's difficult to remove it. But once you remove it, the floodgates open up.
Absolutely. I think we got to be open to constructive criticism, open to people telling us what they see, but then also open to ourselves to receive what we're actually thinking about our own self. There's been a lot of times I've sat there and, I'm sitting there on the couch and just like, man, I feel bad right now. And I'm like, I'm feeling in some type of way. I'm like, what have you done today? You did miss the alarm.
Mm-hmm.
You missed the alarm. Like, how the hell do you think you're going to feel? But I don't think people are open to receiving that message from themselves. And they need to be. They really, truly need to be. Because that is not you being hard. And the whole, you're perfect the way you are.
Oh, hold on. Why are you there? Why are you there? Please, man.
No, you're fucking not.
Let me tell you what we get the most, man. You're hilarious.
I know. I should be a stand-up comedy here.
when people
Sit down comedy.
people reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend Sophia, when she reinvented herself.
Her transformation was amazing.
Let me tell you what she hears a lot. You were so beautiful. You were beautiful both ways. It's like, guys, you're missing the point.
That's not the point.
The point is she wanted to become a better version of herself. Oh, you looked amazing. You look amazing both pictures.
Just so you know, you were fine before, but I love you.
It's like, but how about this? But what if she wasn't?
Yeah.
The way you perceived her and viewed her, yes, you are fine. What if the person that matters has to walk around that person? It's not always about the way they look, their habits, what they're doing internally, the way they're thinking. Like, that's why the reinvention happened. That's how it happens. Stop looking at a picture side by side and just saying, oh, you're beautiful. No. My brain is completely different from that person. My habits are completely different.
Yeah, I think it's important. I want to clarify. I think everybody should have some love for themselves, right? Because if you don't love yourself, then you can't get better. And yes, if you are a certain way and you're happy at that point and you have mental clarity and you accept yourself and you love yourself where you're at, then yes, you are perfect in that moment. But there is nothing wrong with improving yourself. Zero. And if you ever have a thought that I could be better, then you can. Then you should. And it doesn't matter what other people say. There's a lot of people in my life right now that say, no, you look great. No, I don't. No, I don't. This is bad. It's bad for me. It's bad for me. I don't expect anybody else to understand it, but I'm very open with it, right? I'm very open with my thoughts. And I think that's why, the show's done well, is because they're not listening to somebody on the other end of the microphone telling them the way life should be and I'm perfect. But I have also had it weaponized against me too. There's been people recently in my life that, said, well, he's just uncomfortable with his weight, so he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do that. It was never that. I just thought what they were wanting me to do was horseshit, right? But what we'll learn and what the audience I want to understand is when you're open with people and you open up your heart, it can and will be used against you at certain times, right? And you just have to stay steadfast. And you have to know yourself. And that's why listening to yourself is so important, right? Because if I believed him, that would have crushed me.
100%, man. 100%.
It's
it happens in all of our lives, man. And to piggyback, so as an NBA trainer, and then obviously we're going to get to speak, on
I can't wait to talk. That's going to be fun.
But so before I went into building a coaching platform to help people, people were saying to me, why would you do all? Why would you invest all that money? You're an NBA trainer. You travel, you do. And it's there's improvement. There's more for me. So for me, going to get a coach, going to hire Coach Michael Bird to coach me and help me, I'm being vulnerable, say, I need help so I can help people. How do I become my better version so I can help people? I need help in this area. I figured out this NBA world, but how do I really become somebody that can truly help the world? You say you want to help the world. So what?
Exactly.
And so it's the same thing. So when I speak on reinvention, I'm like, guys, you guys are actually also watching, people who know me, you're watching me reinvent myself as I'm telling people to. I went and got a coach. I'm speaking with you. The old me would just, no, I'm good. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm showing you I'm doing it as well. I'm doing it with you. It may not be, hiring a coach to, help me eat or, because I've had that before. Somebody's taught me, now I have a coach in another area of my life. So it's just I'm reinventing myself as I'm telling people. I think the best thing to do is reinvent yourself because there are people at a higher level than me that have coaches.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the craziest things I've seen. When I've seen people at top level, my coach, you have a coach?
Yeah. Oh, I do. I mean,
that's crazy.
If you don't have a coach, dude, Barry Bonds had a coach.
Yeah.
Best baseball player of all time.
Mm-hmm. That's my coach,
Yeah. Somebody coached him. Many coaches, right? And no, it wasn't the steroids, assholes. God. Sorry, I'm gonna get fired up over that.
You're good.
I'm gonna get fired up over Barry Bonds. I protect him, man. He's the greatest. So mid-January, me and you can be sharing a stage together, bro.
Yeah.
Life is serendipitous. Determine your destiny in Virginia Beach. So Norfolk, Virginia, me and you, Michael Little, Dennis Gomez, and Michael Burt ripping shit up.
Oh, man.
God.
It's amazing.
I'm excited.
Me too.
What are you most excited about for that event?
It's my first time doing this.
No way.
First time.
Guess what?
What's that?
Me too.
My man. So, it's just, we're gonna say 4 months ago, I envisioned this. I envisioned, I'm gonna start speaking. I'm gonna start doing these things to get out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna start doing it. So when the flyer comes out, it's like, I went to go reinvent myself. I went to go get the help. I went to go surround myself with my environment of people who are in this field. I mean, I remember the first time when I went to Coach Michael Burt's, I went to a boot camp. Oh my, I thought I was speaking Chinese in there. I had no idea. The process systems, I was just so out the loop, but people don't see that. They don't see how I felt when I left. I'm like, how am I going to be able to do this? Stayed in it. It started to make more sense. I'm like, I get it. I get how I can use my experiences and my skills as a vehicle to help people, but I didn't understand it. So yeah, like this is my first time doing it. I'm excited. And it's a pleasure to be on stage with you guys.
So funny. So 4 months ago, you decided this.
Oh, 4 months ago, right?
That's July.
It was actually August.
Okay, so here's what's wild. All right, I'm gonna give you this rundown. All right, so I have a really good friend named Brandon Burns.
Okay,
he's Eric Thomas's right hand guy. Mm-hmm. He's a booking agent, all that kind of stuff. My show grew to a point where finally I could get Eric Thomas on the show. Mm-hmm. We did it virtually. Me and ET hit it off, bro.
So,
and he's like, I want for this relationship, let's go change the world together. I'm all right, cool. So I asked Brandon, like, hey, what do we do? What does this mean? I don't want to blow the guy up on Instagram. So he's like, well, hey, I think you need to get to the next event that he's at. Go do backstage with him. And I'm like, well, what's that gonna? I mean, that's got to be a nice investment. And he goes, no, just get there. I'm like, well, when? He's gonna be in Traverse, Michigan in 2-3 weeks. I'm like, call my boy Pat Kasickins. I'm like, hey bro, you want to go hang out with ET? He goes, shut up. Are you serious? I go, yep, let's go. So I, booked the tickets, got the hotel. Me and Pat shared a room because we're homies. And we went and I met Michael Little, Tim Lewis, and their I feel so bad. I don't remember the camera guy's name. He didn't talk much though. That's not my fault. But I met them there. And shortly after that, Michael and his team started, doing the social media thing. I noticed that I was tagged in a lot of the videos. And so I reached out. I was like, hey man, what's up? So I want to do something. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then now here we are. So right before you decided, well, no, we probably inked it in August. When you were deciding it was inked, that we were doing Determine Your Destiny, the first location was in, Norfolk. Yeah. And I don't know what the plans are going to be. I know that we want, kind of want to keep doing it, but I think it'd be great if we did that and kept speaking together and keeping that unit. For sure. Me, you, Bert, and all those dudes.
For sure.
Ah, man, but that's funny the way things work, dude.
And let me tell you, as is even interesting part to it. So I'm at the Greatness Factory with Coach Bert, and I'm one of his students. We're one-on-one with Coach, and he texted me the night before the second day of the event, and he goes, hey, I want you to speak on how, what you're doing is very valuable. I want you to speak in front of the people.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I tell my girl, she's with me. If I'm like, yo, I got to speak to these people. Like, and she's like, look at me, like, is this what you want to do? So he calls me up there. I speak in front of people. Mike Little hears me speak. That's how. So he hears me speak. Coach is like, hey, Travis is my one-on-one student. I want him to explain what he does. And he broke it down. And I talk about how I reinvent people 100 days and all that. And and then Mike was in the stand, and when Mike was sitting down, he spoke too. And he was like, hey man, I really want to. I was like, I'm thinking I'm just going up there just to talk. Like, I'm nervous. I'm like,
yeah.
Like, guys, like, Coach, if you ever been to Coach Michael Burt, if you ever heard him teach, I got to go after him. So wish me luck. You know what I'm saying? But like,
they put me as the opener, bro.
I would open. I don't know if you guys know. I would open before I go after him. This dude he's been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
All right, here I come. All right, guys. I mean, I know he, you guys are still fired up, but it's take a month on them. Do you want to reinvent yourself? So it's just like,
Forget what that dude said is my turn.
Exactly. So, but the more is like he taught, I hope he's teaching all these people, and I'm usually, we're the youngest people in the crowd. I just turned 33, and it's like I'm speaking to people who've built $1 million businesses, and they're trying to take it to another level. So it's just like, but more of the story is Mike was there, and that's how.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the thing. Like you have to, and I told you about a little situation that happened to me in Jamaica that we're going through right now, and it could be a massive deal for the determined society. And I met, this is gonna sound bad, I met a guy in a pool.
Sounds really bad.
It does.
It's crazy. Just you and him, huh?
I mean, that's where I'm gonna tell a story. My wife was there, his wife was there, our kids were on the water slide going down, and I just pulled up next to him and someone just said, talk to this guy. And I talked to him, and he's got me in contact with a lot of cool people lately that, I can't talk about it yet, but it's a teaser, guys. It's going to be, hopefully I know it's going to work out, but if your gut is telling you to do something and then your subconscious saying don't because you're scared or whatever it is, dude, just do it because something so cool can happen. I think so many people are afraid to take that leap, jump off the building, man, and just talk to someone random. It could change your life.
For sure.
You don't know who they know.
Sure. It's one person away. You're one person away.
But people really don't get that. People really don't get that. Like honestly, let's see how this goes. You spoke at an event. Now we're speaking on stage. You're sitting in this room with me. We're going to be more lethal there now because we connected here. And there's people in my circle that you're one person away from now, and vice versa.
For sure.
There might be NBA athletes that you have them like, dude, I need him on the show.
It's that simple.
Could have never gotten him before.
It's that simple.
But dude, that's the art of connection.
That's simple.
But it's not easy, right? And I think where people get locked up in is they try to judge every interaction before it happens. So you can never do that. You have to go into it with full intention that this is it. This is the next important thing. And if every conversation is the next important thing, then how can you fucking lose, man?
So I have a kind of a deep question. Do you think, because I'm a big believer, you have to have value to offer somebody. Of course. I think a lot of people, tell me what you feel about this, they feel like they have no value to give somebody, which could create them from not, introducing themselves or meeting somebody. They don't want to feel like, hey, I'm just give me. And the reason I'm saying this is because that's why I believe invest in yourself, working on yourself. So you have something
That's it.
that you can offer somebody to help them.
Yeah, but see, that's it. People think they don't have value because they feel like they're imposters. They feel like imposters because they're not doing the fucking work. They're not working on being proficient in something. So, and it comes down to it, you're very proficient in reinvention. You have that value. You know what that value is. I know what my value is here. I know what my value is on my show. I know what guests get out of it behind the scenes. I know how many people listen. That's my value, right? So I think that, I know I agree with you, right? But I think it's deeper. I think that if there's an audience member right now feeling like they don't have the ability to offer somebody something, well then where is it? Where is it that you're stuck? Where is it that you're believing a fucking narrative that you don't need to believe anymore? Because you can change it. If it's because you aren't good at your job or you don't make enough money, well, figure out how to be better at your job so your boss offers you more money, right? So I think it's taking ownership. So yes. If you don't feel like you have any value to give, it's because you're not giving value to yourself. Boom. So go do that.
There you go.
All right. It's a fucking wrap. It's not a wrap.
But that's what I believe. And then that's why I'm really big into that, helping people understand, you have value and you got to dig it up out of you, and like I said, you could be a businessman, you reinvent yourself. You can go help another businessman who's struggling. Hey, listen, this is what I did. This is how I kept afloat. The money was great, but I just mentally, wasn't there. This is what you have value now because you can help somebody. A lot of people, I think that's where it starts.
So good, man. I'm jacked about our new friendship.
For sure.
Jacked to meet Sophia and Miguel here today. My friend Steve came by. I met yesterday to see all this stuff. And, I just think it's, life is beautiful if you let it be. And, I want everybody, as we wrap up the show here, first of all, is to understand that in your life, every single day, there's moments of beauty. And stop being so distracted by all the bullshit around you, all the comparisons or the expectations that you may think that you have, and just live in the moment and just understand that there's a miracle that happens every day. And that miracle is waking up, because people don't get to wake up every day. It is not guaranteed. So stop living so fucking arrogantly that you're getting tomorrow, because you don't know, right? So stop taking people for granted. And dude, I just loved having you on the show. I know it's going to be the very first of many things we do together. Sure. Because you are my people, dude.
My man.
You are my people. Tell the audience how they can link up with you and work with you, and how can they get a hold of you?
So if a lot of people Instagram users, my handle is Travis X Wallace. So my first name, then X, and then my last name Wallace. Theformula.com. So it's THFR, the number 4. MULA, and we spoke on the 4 R's. That's why it's the formula. So you go to formula.com, and there actually be a link in my bio that's going to allow people to pre-order the book when it's ready for you guys. So you can pre-order, get on the list now. I have a masterclass that comes with the book as well for you. Just so the people who need to reinvent themselves and they need to get into that idea they could become somebody different. I'm actually gonna, like I said, put a free masterclass in there for you to get your mind going, or start rewiring that brain so you can enter the reinvention cycle.
I love it. We're going to make sure that's all in the notes so people can find it easily to where they can just click on it and go book a call with you and just learn about you and, hopefully reinvent themselves, man. So, dude, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And guys, again, Travis is sitting here and I'm sitting here with Travis because the art of connection. Every day in your life, find people you can connect with. I've heard it in multiple places from Travis today and my friend John Huffman yesterday. Stop thinking about what you need and think about who you need to help you to get there. And that is when you will find the what. But until you find the who, you ain't going to go anywhere very far or very quickly at all. So again, thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a rating, damn it. I mean, don't make me beg you for ratings. I want to know what you guys are thinking. I appreciate you guys. Love you. Take care.
So I've tried a lot of protein. What I've always found is all the flavors, you can taste artificial flavoring in them. With raw, it's exactly that. I don't taste that. It's a clean protein source. Tastes great, and I'm not putting a lot of things in my body that aren't good for you. The biggest thing that I will say that I love about raw nutrition and Bum Energy is they're all natural ingredients and they're third-party tested. So what that means is an actual lab test is to make sure what's in the product is actually what is stated on the label. And then you'll see on the website of Raw Nutrition that it is signed off on. So there's no banned substances in these products. Athletes can use them safely and not get tested and popped for a failed drug test for performance enhancing, ingredients. It's completely safe, guilt-free, baby.
Shawn French, what up? This one luck, I let the pain inspire me. I put my all in everything I'm doing. Up until it's done, I'm me for the entirety. I put in overtime, I be working. Just know I'ma go for mine, cause I earned it. They watching, I know it's time, I confirmed it. A whole society determined.